question. Niranjan, over to you.
Thank you for that. We've been looking at the pictures from the city of Bengaluru for the last few days. In fact, we have an explosive document with us. We are going to talk about the truth about why a city called Bengaluru is sinking. It's an explosive report, one that puts all parties to shame. Let's get started with the burning question.
Burning question, powered by Amrita Hospital, Faridabad.
Boats, tractors, open wires, it's all happening in Bengaluru. The city is sinking. India's IT capital has drowned. We have the details of the encroachments of stormwater drains, the truth about why political parties let this happen, how they let it happen, and who all are answerable. The report with the Republic exposes the Congress party, the JDS, and also the BJP. Full details on the burning question tonight. Netas have effectively ensured the city of Bengaluru sinks. Nobody is willing to take accountability. The government blames previous governments. The opposition blames the current government. The citizen is stranded.
Burning question, powered by Amrita Hospital, Faridabad.
Thank you for joining us on Burning Question. I'm Niranjan. For the last few days, we've been looking at those pictures coming in from different parts of Bengaluru. Now, it's not something new. It's something that's been happening each time there's a downpour in Bengaluru, India's IT capital, the IT hub. It's not drowning anymore. It has drowned, and it's drowned in political apathy. Now, we use terms like political apathy very often. But a document with us here on Republic TV, and the document is in my hand, will tell you why each and every political party, including the ruling party, is answerable for what's happening in the city of Bengaluru. Before we get to the details of this report that I have in my hand, citizens have been marooned, tractors have been used, trucks are being used to commute, boats are out. Here's how the situation is looking even until this morning, and then the burning question.
The downpour of over 2 days has left the garden city flooded. The city came to a halt due to torrential rains. Watch how the commuters were falling on the streets. And open live wires left people vulnerable. Long traffic jams left commuters stranded. Several areas were completely inundated. Boats, tractors, NDRF and SDRF teams were all called in to mitigate the situation. And in true Indian jugaad, distressed citizens and commuters resorted to a unique mode of transport to reach their offices.
Especially Bangalore has received unprecedented heavy rain. For last 90 years, such rain has not come. All the tanks are full and they are overflowing. Some tanks are breached. And there is continuous rain. Even today it is raining. Every day it is raining. So in these challenging conditions, we are working. Secondly, this is done because of maladministration and totally unplanned administration of the previous government, Congress government.
Meanwhile, outraged citizens questioned the civic authorities about the crippling infrastructure. Will the Bengaluru civic authorities finally wake up and address the challenges rather than mitigate at the last minute? Bureau Report, Republic TV.
And joining us on the burning question this evening are Mohandas Pai, Chairman, Aaron Capital Partner, Ashwini Nachappa, former international athlete, Arjuna awardee, live from Coorg, but she's a citizen of Bengaluru. She will be joining us live. Brinda Adige, activist, live from Bengaluru as well. Mohan Vishwa is the spokesperson of the BJP in Karnataka. Amrish Shenoy will be joining us live from the Congress Party. Former AICC member T.R. Prasad Gowda of the JDS also joining us, along with Prithvi Reddy, national spokesperson and convener of the Aam Aadmi Party. We'll show all of them on the screen. Okay. While all of them join us live, Mohandas Pai, I have something in my hand. I just want to show our viewers. I'll put up the graphic as well. I'll put out the graphic and I'll tell you why each of these political parties are answerable. Details of how each of the governments have failed in the last 15 to 20 years in Karnataka. And all kinds of governments have come and gone. BJP has ruled the state of Karnataka. The JDS has ruled the state of Karnataka. The Congress Party has ruled the state of Karnataka. Now, here's the reason, and here's what nobody will show you because it doesn't suit them. In my hand are the details of the encroachments of what you call the stormwater drain. So, Bengaluru, there is this notorious lobby that allows constructions on lake beds, on wetlands. They will let all the constructors come. They will take huge bribes. Every political party is guilty. The Congress did it a lot. They got caught red-handed. And here is the report. Look at this. In my hand, I have zone by zone, total number of encroachments identified. This is as of December 2021, when the BJP has been ruling. Look at this. Total number of encroachments, 2,626. 2,626. Details of encroachments removed by surveys in the year 2016-2017 when the Congress Party was in power. If you can focus on this number, 400. Out of 2,626, 428 were removed when the Congress was in power. Details of the encroachments resolved, removed post 2019 when the BJP came to power, about 1,500. Here in my hand, 1,500. Balance encroachments to be removed, 696. Now, all of these add up. All of these add up to the reason why you saw those horrific images from across the city of Karnataka. Now, let me go across. Mohandas Pai, you're a citizen, you're living there, and you know, I live in Bengaluru, my family is there, and if you're looking at the pictures, it's something that happens every year. It's something that will continue to happen because there is absolutely no collective will to tackle this, isn't it? Mohandas Pai. And can any party claim they did their job? Mohandas Pai.
You know, it is a result of continuing lack of governance, high corruption and inadequate investment in that area. First of all, there are massive encroachments. Many of the encroachments have been done by political people along with the real estate people. Approvals have been given by the bureaucracy. Obviously, money has been taken by a lot of people and it's been continuing for the last 15-20 years. Second, the drains have been encroached, leading to the lack of clearance for the water that accumulates there once in a 10-year flood, once in a 100-year flood, or something like that happened this time. And the third thing very clearly is the lack of adequate infrastructure and planning. The BBMP, our corporation, is extremely corrupt. The officials don't even listen to the chief minister or the bureaucracy. I've spoken to 5 chief ministers last 15-20 years. All of them say, we'll invest in Bangalore, we want to help Bangalore. I've spoken to senior bureaucrats last 15-20 years. Everybody is positive. When they order and give money, much of the money is eaten away by lower officials, and the BBMP is the den of corruption. So we are suffering like this. For example, if you had gone on this road and seen the service road earlier, the service road has got debris, it has got filth, you cannot use the service road, and the crossroads cannot be used. The drains, whatever drain is there, is full of debris, they are not being cleaned, etc. You know, you'll be very surprised. During the British regime, there was somebody called a drain inspector. You'll recall Mahatma Gandhi calling the Simon Commission report a drain inspector's report. So corporations are drain inspectors to go and to inspect because they knew when the monsoon comes, you have to have clean drains. Nothing has been done because everybody is focused on, on money and corruption. Now, what the chief minister has come out, he has promised a course of action. I think that's good news. He's promised to give money. That's the easy part. But we want to see how we'll ensure work is carried out. Money is not eaten away in corruption. What mechanism he will do. Because today we have a city where lower level officials don't listen to the bosses. They don't listen. There is no enforcement. We want 100, 200 corrupt officials to be sacked. You have to send a message to lower bureaucracy that you don't perform, you'll be sacked. We want the people who gave this wrong permission and approval to be sacked. And criminal prosecution put against a lot of them where the issue is very critical and prima facie they've done it. Because if we don't do all that, it's going to repeat again and again and our money is going to be wasted again. All political parties are responsible for this. Bangalore is a milch cow for Karnataka and we're seeing the impact here. So I think it's a big shame. Hopefully, our Chief Minister Bommai will take action in the next maybe 3 to 4 months and show he means action.
Yeah. And you know why Mohan Vishwa or any other party can't speak today? I'll tell you. And there is a video I have right now. And I want to show you that video. This video actually was sent this afternoon when people thought things are better, the water levels are receding, right? I want to show you a video and I'm going to show you full frame the video. Let's go across to that video full frame. Look at that video and look at this video very, very, very closely, okay? Just look at this video very closely. I'll tell you the details of this video. This is in front of an IT park, okay? IT park in Bengaluru called EcoSpace Global Technology Park, Outer Ring Road, okay? And what you are seeing or looking at, ladies and gentlemen, these are people crossing the road. Look at that. People are walking, people are crossing the road in flooded waters with electric cables. Those are electric cables. Look at that. Look at the floor. Those are electric cables and people are walking. And if I'm not wrong, people have already been electrocuted. So people are not just sinking. Cars, bikes are not just sinking, falling into open holes because they don't really know where the roads are. People are walking with open wires. Are you looking at this? Mohan Vishwa, is there a government in Bengaluru? Is there a government for Bengaluru? It's India's pride IT capital. Can you please tell me? Look at those videos.
Niranjan, see, the number says it all. Okay, when we are in power for hardly 1 year and from first 1.5 years, the elections has not happened. We have cleared more than 1,500 encroachments out of 2,000, which is 75%. So that's the kind of effort which we are doing. To give an example, you said you are a Bangalorean, you know some part of Bangalore. Take an example of Galanjanaya Swami temple. Every year there used to be a flood. Okay, this year there is no flood. Okay, Rajarajeshwari Nagar, there used to be a flood. This year there is no flood. And also the Hoskerahalli belt, every year there used to be a flood. This year, even after receiving a mammoth amount of rain, there is no flood. And even Madiwala belt also, there is no flood as such. So that's the kind.
How can you say that? You see, Mohan, you can't fool me. You can maybe fool me.
My friend,
Niranjan,
you can't fool you.
You have to appreciate certain things. You have to appreciate certain things also at the same time. Where we have irrespective of any party, we have taken a strong legal action to take out all those illegal encroachments. Please to understand, okay? Yeah.
Please stop this justification. Accept that Bangalore is in a mess. Accept your responsibility and say in another 3 months we'll clear it. We'll make it work. We'll make sure all.
No, absolutely. As Chief Minister promised, definitely we are going to do it. Definitely we are going to do it. At the same time, please do appreciate.
You are the government. Don't justify. We know about the corruption in the government officials. Don't justify, please.
Our government have removed it. And also, Niranjan, you just showed a picture or video.
Look at that video. No, Mohan Vishwa, you tell me about this video. 1 minute. Mohan Vishwa, you're telling me you did a great job. Look at this video. This video is from this morning. I can verify this video. Mohan Vishwa, hear me. Tell me about this video.
I am not denying.
You look at this video.
I am not denying.
Are you? Then how? 1 minute. One minute. Mohan Vishwa, calmly listen to me. You calmly listen to me. 1 minute. You calmly listen. I'll let you speak. Calmly listen. Okay. It's been over 48 hours. Wires are on the streets. Open wires are on the streets. Ashwini Nachappa has lived in Bengaluru. Brinda Adige is from Bengaluru. You tell me, how will you justify this? You're saying you did a fantastic job removing 75%. Why didn't you remove this wire?
Niranjan,
you want me to remind you of the number of stories where open wires, hanging wires have killed people?
Niranjan, no, this is the
Brinda Adige will respond to you. Say your piece and Brinda Adige will respond to you.
I am not questioning the video also.
Sorry? Brinda Adige, Brinda, you see this video. This is only one of the hundreds of videos.
We can see this video and there have been so many other videos that have been going around. I think you need to take responsibility. Instead of saying, with such condescending benevolence, that, you've cleared 400 out of the 200 in the last 1.5 years. Why did you allow for new projects to be made in the same manner? Why were these permissions given? And Mr. Pai is talking about lower officials. I think it is officials from the top to the bottom. Nothing works if you don't have the signature of the topmost person who's in charge for that project. You don't get the project moving. So put everybody in the dock, including the politicians, because the politicians cannot be absolved, neither the senior officers can be absolved. You talking about another party, another political party, just does not help us citizens. You were voted into power because the others failed. And you cannot become 10 plus 1 and say, listen, we've done this, we are just a little worse than them. But they are really, really worse. It doesn't help us. You need to take responsibility. You need to fix things. You need to fix things and be accountable to the citizens. Now, today.
Yeah. And more, and we
Niranjan,
also,
can I come in, please?
who's that?
This is Prithvi Reddy.
Okay. Prithvi Reddy, you can come in. I want to ask the JDS spokesperson also, Mr. T.R. Prasad Gowda, who's here, and then you can come in. And maybe you can respond to what T.R. Prasad Gowda has to say, because I want to ask him a question. T.R. Prasad Gowda, have you seen this document? I'm sure it's publicly available by now. Have you seen this document? Do you know about this document on encroachment details of stormwater drains? That's the title. Have you read this document? Can't hear you. Can you hear me? Okay, I'm not getting his audio, but I wanted to ask him because his party leader was the Chief Minister of Karnataka for a significant amount of time, where only 400 out of 2,600 encroachments were removed. Aam Aadmi Party's Prithvi Reddy is coming in. Okay, Prithvi Reddy, I can't ask you much because you haven't ruled the state of Karnataka, but I'll let you come in and then I'm going to get in Ashwini Nachappa after that. Prithvi Reddy.
Yeah, so Niranjan, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay. It's so unfortunate that a couple of years ago, we were actually praying for rains in Bangalore because we were struggling for drinking water. And now the rains are God sent and the floods are man-made. The pictures you were just showing us, the situation on the ground is a lot worse. We've spent about 10 hours today on the ground trying to figure out where the problem lies. The number of encroachments you show are probably a minuscule amount as to what is actually happening on the ground. The greed of a few people in connivance with the local politicians has caused this problem. The rains have occurred across Bangalore. We should ask why this has happened. This area has grown rapidly. In Bangalore, anyone who's attempted to build a house will know that before you lay a brick or bring a load of sand, you have the corporators, chelas, or the BBOP officials rushing there to find out, do you have a plan? Has it been approved? Can you build this way? They come there to collect their own hafta, but they have not stopped these encroachments. So until you really go after the people who have turned a blind eye to what this happened, quite honestly, it doesn't matter whether it was the BJP or the Congress. The BJP cannot speak because the area which has suffered the most is Mahadevpura. And Mahadevpura has had a BJP MLA for the past 15 years. And like someone else was saying, because the previous governments have failed, the people of Mahadevpura have elected an MLA 3 times consecutively. So it is absolutely ridiculous for them to say they were not aware of it. Even if, he was not in power, let's not forget that we've had the Yediyurappa government for 5 years in the past 15 years. We've had not 1 year. 1 year is the Bommai government. Before that, you had the Yediyurappa government. So in the past about 15 years, they've been in power for 8 years. Right now, it's not just encroachments. The drains are filled with mud. Half of them, which were supposed to be 8 feet deep, are today only about 2 to 3 feet deep. Logic will tell you that if you have any restriction to the flow of water, There is weeds which have not been cleared. Because those weeds are getting jammed in the canals, there is no place for water to flow. So I would strongly recommend that rather than us fighting on this debate, that people actually go and see for themselves the problems. I've spent 10 hours today on the ground in almost waist deep water, and I can tell you that a lot of the problems, if you just desalt and remove the muck that is there in our drains, you will solve 50 to 60% of the problems. And my request to the BJP spokesperson is, let's stop the tutu meme. Akila died yesterday because of electrocution. She was riding a bike. She skidded, and to take support, she touched a pole which had an open wire. Unfortunately, until late this evening, nobody had visited them except the local BBMP office. It's a shame because she was the only breadwinner in the family. Her brother is handicapped, her mother is injured, and her father is a heart patient. I hope that you will go back and tell your government to take care of this family because they have lost their sole breadwinner. And I'm sure that if action is not taken and we continue debating this matter, we are going to have a pandemic in Bangalore because the water that is on the road is not rainwater. It is mixed with sewage. It's black in color. I had to have a bath with the Dettol, almost 3 washes just to get the smell off me. So my request is, let's talk about real problems. Whatever happens, don't have band-aid solutions because Bangalore, this waterlogging problem requires a major operation and not, some band-aid solutions which are being given.
Yeah, I want to bring in Ashwini Nachappa. Ashwini, Bengaluru is one city where since the 2000s, a lot of experts were brought in, right? We were told that experts would help plan the city, etc. Now the joke is, each time you go to Bengaluru, the joke is there was a lake there the last time, this time the lake is gone. I mean, it's a joke. It's really a joke. In looking at the pictures, it's a fact that no party can claim they actually did something, because if they really did, it wouldn't come down to this, would it? Ashwini?
Well, I think since 1994, when Bangalore really opened up, it has given way to, as Mohan and Prithvi and Brita rightly, a lot of corruption because Bangalore has expanded beyond words. I mean, it's unbelievable the way it has expanded with the minimum infrastructure. And all parties, irrespective of which, they cannot unaware.
Yes, can hear you. Go ahead.
It is right that every official, I mean, even to get an e-khata for a common person, a photographer has to come to the house. He has to be bribed to even come to the house to take a photograph, and then you are given an e-khata after paying some money. It is so difficult for a common person to get it. And you see this kind of expansion, unplanned city expansion, because there's so much of greed that is set in. We are investing in white topping of roads today. For the last couple of years, it's been white topping and nothing else. The drains are clean, but there's no mesh put in the holes, so all the garbage goes into the drain. I mean, there is corruption rampantly in our city, and I think today there is no point talking about who did what. Let the government of the day give us a solution in every area, hold the people responsible, hold all officials responsible. I think it has to be a collective effort of citizens, officials, and the government together today for every one of us to be safe. It's not just one life of Akila. I mean, looking at those videos, there are other commuters. It's scary to see Bangalore city at this at this level. It's unbelievable. In the last few years, we've been having rains and, this is unprecedented rain, but we've had frost in Bengaluru. We have many other issues, from garbage collections to the city is too big. It needs to, get its act right. All parties must come together to bring this city to its, back into action. It's no longer fighting against each other. Let's have a collective, action so that all of us can live safely.
Yeah. And you ask Mohan Vishwa, he will tell you, but his government has done the most. Please tell me Mohan Vishwa and Mohandas Pai here, he tweets almost every day about, even though he's, he backs your government on many issues. But he has real issues with for example, potholes. You know how many people have died of potholes? Every day we put out a video saying this. And the worst part is that there are videos when there is a pothole death or when someone slips over a pothole. The best part about the time we live in is that everything is documented. And yet you come here on the debate and say we've done much better than the rest. Right?
Niranjan filed. We are there in the power in the state as well as the BJP from past 3 years.
Okay, let him speak. Let Mohan Vishwa speak and you respond to him briefly. I want to get Mohan Das Pai also after that.
See, we are there in the government, state also from past 3 years and BBMP also from past 3 years. Even though, the election is getting delayed. So we took up the responsibility of entire Bangalore, okay? And CM himself is the in-charge minister. And Mr. Prithvi Reddy said, he was there in the water for 10 years. Come on, you should see our MLAs are also, who are there 24/7 from the day, these floods are happening in Madhepura or Outer Ring Road. He can't deny the fact that only he was there and only he knows the problems, okay? Even our MLAs are also knows the problem. And like the number says, see, Bangalore witnessed heavy rainfall, which has never happened in the past, probably from past 40, 50 years. I was reading in the newspaper in the morning. Okay, in that kind of situation also, our MLAs and our party have worked a lot. I gave you an example, the comparison between last year and the current year, the areas where, when the same rain comes, lot of issues used to happen. So those issues have, have drastically reduced. Come on, there is an increase in wall of...
even Mohan Das Pai, one minute, Mohan, even Mohan Das Pai is nodding his head. One minute, he said all our MLAs, all our MPs, are you sure? Think again, because I'm going to ask you a trick question. Are you sure? All your MLAs and all your MPs in the affected areas have been doing their work?
Yes, say the MLAs who are there...
Think again. Think again, I'll ask you a trick question.
No, to ask any trick question for that matter, okay? MLAs who are
No, we are looking at some videos. I was just going through videos, though I couldn't verify. 1 minute. Let me ask you. I've come across videos. 1 minute. I've come across videos of leaders of your party giving, being trolled for being missing in action and tasting dosas in different restaurants. Is that true?
Come on, at that moment he would have had a dosa. Does it mean that he has not visited his constituency? Have you seen that? Have you not seen that?
Look.
What is this?
Mohan Das Pai responding. I'm asking you a question. I asked you a question. Mohan Das Pai saying something.
Voters where our corporators and MLAs, they are on the street and PM himself was there in the entire night.
You hear Mohan Das Pai?
How does it help you being there on the street?
Look, man, the disaster is under your watch. Except there's a disaster, tell us all you're working on it. Tell us all to clean. You said unprecedented rain. Yes, there's unprecedented rain. You know about that. Will you please keep quiet? When the unprecedented rain, water will gather. But this water have to stand there for 3 days. If there are good drains, clean drains, water will go away. A few hours there'll be water. Okay, we understand that. But the water has stood there for 3 days. That means the drains are blocked. The drains are clogged. And it's a mess. Accept your responsibility and tell people we're going to rectify this. This is the plan of action. We want 2 to 3 months. We're going to demolish all the obstruction the Rajakal way. Please tell us that and stop this fighting and all this kind of nonsense, because you're not doing yourself any credit and you're increasing the anger of the citizens of Bangalore. What we want today is action. Send your safety people to remove all the wires. Send your safety people to barricade the areas where there are open wires. One person has lost their life. Give them compensation for the loss of life. Show your sympathy. Yesterday we saw the CM go in the night. I saw a video where he has promised what he's going to do. I'm happy with the promise. And I said, please set up a committee under an additional chief secretary along with civic society to monitor on a weekly basis, report to citizens so that there's credibility. Because if you don't do that and you allocate money, money is going to be eaten away. And we want 25, 30, 40 corrupt officials to be sacked. We want that. Why do you want them sacked? To send a message to everybody that the corruption is not acceptable because this is a result of corruption. I'm saying it. It's the result of corruption. Don't tell me Bengalurians, engineers cannot build roads. Why are there potholes? Because there's not enough tar. The road is not done properly. Money has been eaten away. The money given for the road has not been spent. Fake bills are done. Bills are only done and paid. We had contractors saying that for 2 years they're not paid. The contractor to answer, if they're given a bill for 2 years, large money has not been paid. Has the work ever been done? Work has not been done. How can they stay alive for 2 years? They'll be bankrupt because the margin is only 5-10%. So what are they doing? You can understand the depth of corruption. I'm not saying you people have done corruption. These people who have done corruption, they must be hanged. And show us that you're doing that. That is what you mean business. Don't justify, we did more, we did less. They don't justify because every day we see this, we have deeply pain. Please do that. We don't want excuses. Do you understand?
Yeah. I want to ask that question to T.R. Prasad Gowda. T.R. Prasad Gowda, can you hear me now? Of the JDS, can you hear me now?
I can hear you.
Okay, I was trying to ask you the last time you were live whether you've seen this document. Have you seen this document called Encroachment Details of Stormwater Drains as of 31st of December 2021? Have you seen this?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You've seen it? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Shall I answer this question?
I have not asked you a question. My question to you is, Mr. Gowda. No, my question to you, Mr. Gowda, is why did your Chief Minister and under your government, why were only 400 out of 2,600 encroachments removed? Why were only 400 of 2,600 plus, only 400 out of 2,600 removed? Can't hear you.
Sir, this will come under the place which the places where you are showing this drain waters inside the layouts area comes under Bellandur area, that is Bommanalli area. So during 2006, when Kumaraswamy was Chief Minister for the first time, he has formed the committee called A.T. Ramaswamy Committee to avoid the land grabbers. And in the A.T. Ramaswamy Committee, they have mentioned that it is not advisable for all this to make the.
No, what are you saying? Last I checked here, it was your. No, you're saying your Chief Minister was not responsible. It's the local leader who's responsible, you were saying. You're trying to say your Chief Minister was not responsible, but the local leaders are responsible for the corruption.
We have not allowed them to build any kind of structures there.
No.
What I tell you is, A.T. Ramaswamy Committee we have formed. In that committee, we have mentioned.
Do you buy that? Brindarike, do you buy that? The JDS saying we did everything to stop, but the numbers here show something else. What is he saying?
What did you do to stop? What did you do?
If you file an RTI, we will get all the information of how you carried on with whatever shoddy plans that were there. You did not tear up the plans and say that these are wrong. You just said, the previous government has allowed it. Tender has gone. So we will continue with it. So whatever you are giving them, you can also give us. Please file RTI and you will find out from those RTI reports or the ones that the departments have already answered that nothing was stopped. You did not do anything new. If you saw the plans or if your engineers saw the plans, they would have seen that it was a shoddy plan. It was unprofessional. It was covering up everything. The white topping, they're talking about all the wires going underneath the ground. You did nothing of that sort. So you just continued. But what you stopped, nobody knows. Because if you did stop anything, there would have been at least 30% respite today. But you see that there is no respite. And I'm not saying only about your government. I'm also talking about the government before you, and I'm talking about the present government also. Everybody allowed that band-aid to be put again and again, simply saying that this was not done during our tenure. Somebody else got the tender. And once a tender has been given, you cannot take that tender back. But you never overlooked into any of those works that were awarded because of those tenders. If you had done so, you would have seen that there was neither a plan nor there is a future for Bangalore.
Yeah.
You just allowed it, and that accountability is what we are questioning today.
Now, there is zero accountability. Neither the Congress nor the JDS nor the BJP can lecture anybody on this one. Yes, Prithvi, you wanted to come in, and I'll get Ashwini Nachappa after that along with Mohandas Pai. Yes,
I'm making an open challenge to the spokesperson from BJP. Please send your camera team tomorrow. Forget about what has happened in the past. I will show you buildings which are being put up as we speak, which are encroaching Raj Kalves and which is only going to further the problem, and construction is carrying on. So the question is, forget about removing encroachments of the past. You're allowing it to happen today, and this cannot happen without the connivance of the local corporator and the MLA. There is no chance.
Yeah,
I challenge you on that.
No, can you do that? I don't think they have the courage to do that, because that would mean bringing down a lot of buildings. You know, like what happened with the Twin Tower. The Twin Tower demolition actually sent out a message, and actually it was the BJP leaders who were giving news conferences, sound bites. Also, Mohan saying that we have the courage to bring down a building if needed. Okay, now how many buildings can you bring down if they are illegal? And can you bring down even one?
See, Niranjan, I don't know whether you have seen or not, Revenue Department have already started action from the second half itself. The buildings which were encroached, or the part of the buildings which were encroached in Rajakaluves have been already started demolishing. Okay? And as you said, there are numbers with you. One question for JDS person is, he should answer who is the owner of EcoSpace. Mr. Kupendra Reddy, who is the Rajya Sabha member from JDS, probably if you do the survey of EcoSpace, you will understand how much encroachment would have happened even there. How can he quote about, Ramaswamy committee and Kumaraswamy, and he never gave a permission, all those stuff and all. If you take EcoSpace ownership, you will come to know how much encroachment has been done. They don't have any moral right to talk on that. Okay? See, one thing what I want to say is, I told also in the debate initially or in between that, we are in the power of the state also, at the BBMP also from past 3 years. We have taken up the responsibility. It's not that we have not taken up. Okay? So, going forward also, we do take up the responsibility, and we have done a lot compared to other parties from past 1 or 2 years as far as BBMP is concerned. In the future also, we are definitely going to do that. As our Chief Minister have told, there is no tolerance. There is no tolerance on all this encroachment. Definitely our government is going to take strict action against any encroachment further. It can be anywhere in Bangalore. Irrespective of any party for that matter.
How many times have you heard them say that, Ashwini? How many times have you heard them say that? And on how many debates?
Let's give them a chance. The Chief Minister has come out today and, respond to the citizens' vote. We have, as you said, this kind of a crisis needs everybody to come together. Not a match where you're going to win one over the other. I think all parties need to come. Everybody has done wrong. As he rightly said, EcoSpace belongs to a JDS member, but that way there are lots of politicians and their cronies who have gone into real estate and have flouted the rules. If leaders are going to be doing that, why is it it's not surprising why the lower officials are not going to do it. Everybody is corrupt. So let's take the responsibility, where the government of the day take their responsibility and really show action in the coming week. Let's see what they're going to do, come out with an action plan. As Mohan said, we want answers, we want action so that Bangalore is back and the citizens can commute safely and go about their business and livelihood.
Another question I wanted to ask Mohan Das Pai. Mohan Das Pai, you think somewhere, you think politicians who also own businesses, who also own a lot of real estate companies are the biggest culprits here? I don't want to take names, but I'm sure it will come out soon.
Yeah. Niranjan, of course, Niranjan. There are many politicians who are into real estate business, who act as middlemen, who take commission. The bigger thing now is happening is some of the MLAs have become extortionists. I know 2 or 3 places personally where they went and stopped a real estate project for 15 days by sending gundas, and then you complain to the inspector. The inspector does nothing. He said, I can't do anything. You complain to higher up in the police. They also call the inspector. Inspector doesn't do something. You talk the party bosses. They speak to that legislator, and he refused to obey. When you ask him what he's doing, he said, I'm collecting money for the next election. He's blatant. I know 2, 3 cases like this. What do? They become, where do you go to in this, where there's deep corruption? All these political parties have become helpless before these MLAs, because the MLAs are using money for election. Now, we see today the rule of law is very important in any city in India. Look at Bombay. Bombay is a disaster. I went to Pune. Pune is a disaster. For the last 3-4 chief ministers, Niranjan, we have been going and telling them when they become chief minister, sir, in Bangalore, in the next 60 days, please clean up Bangalore. There is debris, muck in the drains, all kind of mess on the road. Clean up the city, it look much, much better. People will walk more, traffic will come down, clean it up, broken footpath, clogged drains, muck and, the debris put on the footpath, put on the side of the road. What is this there then? Can't you even clean the damn city? The cleaning cost you money. They spend 500, 600 crores on removing of the garbage. The garbage mafia. The garbage mafia has not seen a tender for many years because they got to stay from a lower court. Everybody is happy. Some of the MLAs are reportedly running the garbage mafia. Everybody's got their hand in the till. They're very happy. They're making money. And the BBMP says, we don't have enough money. Whatever money you give them, we don't know where it goes. So the biggest problem is lack of governance. Bangalore is too big to be governed. There's lack of capability, deep corruption in the political class, all parties, and in the bureaucracy and in the lower bureaucracy. Now you sack the lower bureaucracy, some of them will sing, some of them will point names. You got to make sure that this cleaning up goes right way to the top. Unless you do that, it's going to repeat again and again and again and again.
Yeah, but you ask the BJP, they will tell you, we are in the government, we are in the BBMP, but we are doing our best, and nobody is responsible. Nobody is willing to take responsibility in the debate.
Niranjan, they have not held elections for 2 years. Why is that? You know what the story is? Earlier, the ward councillors were extorting money. Like somebody said, you can't get an approval without a ward councillor coming, threatening all kind of. They were extorting money. They thought their ward is their personal kingdom. Any construction, you have to pay them money, or they will extort. One of these MLAs closed a coffee shop belonging to a charity run by one big philanthropist in Bangalore. I had to call up the chief minister's office to get it reversed. I don't want to name that person. And one officer got suspended. These ward councillors were there. For 2 years, the ward councillors are not there. No election has been held. So MLAs are very happy. They don't want elections because many of them are extorting money. Now, they have become the rulers of that particular constituency. So there are no elections. The corruption has gone one step ahead. It's all about money. So this must stop.
Yeah.
The current government under Mr. Bommai must stop this. And we need elections. We need BBMP to be made into 5 corporations. We need a full-time mayor. We need urban reforms. We need local empowerment. We need local government to have the power to collect more taxes. And we need a dramatic, radical change. The earlier way of doing business cannot continue. And I think we must make it clear that this is what we want. And all political parties must do it. They passed the law in the assembly to convert Bangalore to 5 corporations. What did the BJP do? I mean, the law has still not been implemented. We had 3-4 committees. Everybody has done that. The problem, Niranjan, is in Karnataka, all political leaders say we must help Bangalore. All politicians say we'll do something. Chief ministers come and allocate money. Bureaucrats nod their head and are supportive. Then they give money to the corporation. There's no monitoring. The BBMP accounts have not been audited for many years. I don't know. Maybe Ms. Adiga can tell us how many years they've been audited. They've not been audited. Why have they not been audited? This is Niranjan. Is a very sad day today, Niranjan.
Yeah, very sad, very sad. That's why we decided to have this debate, because I got this document, but even the JDS, none of them will take responsibility. Why don't you? Okay, Mohan, I'll give you 1 minute. Okay, why don't you just say we are in the government, we rule the BBMP, we are in charge of Bengaluru, we are responsible to the people of Bengaluru, we take responsibility. Just say it's your responsibility. That's it. Say it's your responsibility.
I told you at least 3 times from 40 minutes. I don't know why you are asking the same question again.
Because nobody's heard you clearly. You're saying you've done a great job. I heard you say you've done a great job.
Again, I clarified that. Obviously, we were in the ruling, even at the state also, even at the BBMs also. It's our responsibility and we are doing it. And we have done it. I am telling you what we have done from past 3 years and what we are doing now and what we are going to do in future.
Have you cleared these 700? You're saying we are done. Okay, have you cleared these 700 encroachments here? Have you cleared these 700 encroachments? Have you cleared them?
Out of 2,000, we have cleared 1,500, almost 75%.
I'm asking you about the 700 more.
The numbers with you.
No. What took you so? Okay, from 2019.
We'll be finishing it. It's a continuous process. We'll be finishing it probably hardly in 5 months or 6 months.
1 minute. This report is as of 31st of December 2021. Can you tell me out of 700 how many you've cleared?
No, I don't have an exact number with me as of now, okay, because it's a continuous process, things will be keep on going. I gave you an example of specific areas. I gave an example of Radharaj.
But but tell me something, Mohan, this happens every year. Mohan, no, on a serious note, this happens every year. 1 minute, this happens every year. What are you saying? It happens every year. It happens every year. I saw Mohandas Pai's 1 minute. I saw Mohandas Pai's tweet last week, last month. The month before that, he's been tweeting about potholes for God knows how long. You tell me, you are in charge of BBMP. Aren't you responsible for the people's deaths on the roads?
Niranjan, I'm telling you, when we were ruling, obviously we were responsible. I'm putting you the same points again and again. You're asking the same question again and again.
No, but
Please tell me how many officials have been pulled up?
Come on, you have to read ACB, man. There is something called as Anti-Corruption Bureau, which has done lot of right from past 3 years. Which has done lot of right, where BBMP corrupt officers were also involved, IAS officer also involved, police officer also involved. Please read those rights and come. Don't say that blindly that, we have not done anything. How many corrupt officers have been removed? Have you seen how many ACB rights have been done in our government for past 1.5 years? And we were the one who is who's bringing back local again, who is making stronger again as per the, High Court instructions.
Yeah, but all of this is okay, but what's the point? I see.
These people have died, and then the police have filed FIR on the person who has died. Not on the person who made that.
Why you are diverting?
What diverting? She's right. You booked a citizen. No, don't dodge. You booked a citizen. Mohan. You booked a citizen.
I told you, no, it's wrong. It's wrong. And also the police officer has clarified why it was wrong initially. Initial FIR, why there was a mistake, why there was a, there was some sort of miscommunication, why he did that, even he himself has clarified.
Miscommunication. Bizarre.
Niranjan,
what are you saying?
Niranjan,
somebody
the
told him to file an FIR.
What problem with some of the spokespeople and the politician is, they think they are the rulers, inheritors of the British colonial class, and we are all the servants. We should just accept whatever they say. They justify, they harangue us, and they harass us, and we have to accept it because we are their slaves. We are no longer the slaves. We are citizens of this country. You are representing us. You jolly well listen. And if you fail, stand up and say, you apologize, you're going to improve, going to do it. Don't justify anything that has gone wrong because you have to take responsibility. You are in power. Nobody is saying you're the only corrupt party. We're saying 15, 20 years has happened. All the political parties are responsible. Today you are in power, take responsibility. The CM has taken responsibility. So don't come on TV and talk nonsense. Please. And don't, you are making people more angry at a time when so many people are upset.
You have taken the responsibility. Why you are asking again same question?
Sir.
Because you're talking nonsense. You're justifying everything.
What?
Don't say we did this, the trade is a failure. Please, please stop properly.
No, I'll tell you something. Tomorrow, I'll tell you what's happening tomorrow. Tomorrow,
Niranjan, can I come in, please?
1 minute. I have to end the show, but I'll make one last point. I'll make one last point. One last point to all our panelists. 1 minute. Tomorrow at 7 p.m., the Prime Minister inaugurates Kartavya Path.
Yes.
You know the symbolism of Kartavya Path? Putting the citizen first. Right? And these pictures, I think, should ensure that politicians have a sleepless night, at least from the ruling party in Karnataka. Think about all those people who are stranded, who were stranded. Many people are even stranded as we speak. We keep getting live tweets. I was looking at some of the responses. So many people are stranded. Citizen first is what the Prime Minister says. It has to trickle down to every level. Thank you for joining us and for being with us on The Burning Question. Thank you to each one of our panelists. Taking a short break, the debate is coming up next.
Amity has been ranked among the top universities globally for producing the most employable graduates by the Times Higher Education UK. Yet another testimony to Amity's excellent placement record.
अभी हम लोग सोनाली फोगाट जी के पूरे परिवार से मिले। उनकी जिस तरह से हत्या की गई है और जिन संदेहास्पद सर्कमस्टांसेस के अंदर उनकी हत्या हुई है, ये बेहद दुख की बात है। वो हमारे देश की बहुत जानी मानी हस्ती थी, हमारे देश की बेटी थी, हमारी बहन थी। पूरा परिवार इस वक्त बहुत ज़्यादा सदमे में है। पूरे परिवार को लग रहा है कि उनके साथ बहुत बड़ा अन्याय हुआ है। परिवार की भी मांग है, पूरे देश की भी मांग है कि इसकी निष्पक्ष जांच होनी चाहिए और निष्पक्ष जांच तभी हो सकती है जब सीबीआई इसके इन्वेस्टिगेशन करेगी। गोवा में भी बीजेपी की सरकार है, हरियाणा में भी बीजेपी की सरकार है, केंद्र में भी बीजेपी की सरकार है। एक मात्र 2 मिनट के अंदर अगर वो निर्णय ले लें तो ये मामला जो है सीबीआई में जा सकता है।
Well, the massive protest is now being done by BJP workers in front of Manish Sisodia's residence. Manish Sisodia, इसको बर्खास्त करो, हमारी ये मांग है। BJP MLA who is now being detained here.
अभी हम लोग सोनाली फोगाट जी के पूरे परिवार से मिले। उनकी जिस तरह से हत्या की गई है और जिन संदेहास्पद सर्कमस्टांसेस के अंदर उनकी हत्या हुई है, ये बेहद दुख की बात है। वो हमारे देश की बहुत जानी मानी हस्ती थी, हमारे देश की बेटी थी, हमारी बहन थी। पूरा परिवार इस वक्त बहुत ज़्यादा सदमे में है। पूरे परिवार को लग रहा है कि उनके साथ बहुत बड़ा अन्याय हुआ है। परिवार की भी मांग है, पूरे देश की भी मांग है कि इसकी निष्पक्ष जांच होनी चाहिए और निष्पक्ष जांच तभी हो सकती है जब सीबीआई अभी हम लोग सोनाली फोगाट जी के पूरे परिवार से मिले। उनकी जिस तरह से हत्या की गई है और जिन संदेहास्पद सर्कमस्टांसेस के अंदर उनकी हत्या हुई है, ये बेहद दुख की बात है। वो हमारे देश की बहुत जानी मानी हस्ती थी, हमारे देश की बेटी थी, हमारी बहन थी। पूरा परिवार इस वक्त बहुत ज़्यादा सदमे में है। पूरे परिवार को लग रहा है कि उनके साथ बहुत बड़ा अन्याय हुआ है। परिवार की भी मांग है, पूरे देश की भी मांग है कि इसकी निष्पक्ष जांच होनी चाहिए और निष्पक्ष जांच तभी हो सकती है जब सीबीआई इसके इन्वेस्टिगेशन करेगी। गोवा में भी बीजेपी की सरकार है, हरियाणा में भी बीजेपी की सरकार है, केंद्र में भी बीजेपी की सरकार है। एक मात्र 2 मिनट के अंदर अगर वो निर्णय ले लें तो ये मामला जो है सीबीआई में जा सकता है।
Amity has been ranked among the top universities globally for producing the most employable graduates by the Times Higher Education UK. Yet another testimony to Amity's excellent placement record.
आग को फैलने से रोकना मुश्किल है, पर नामुमकिन नहीं। अब फायरवॉल टेक्नोलॉजी के साथ सेंचुरी प्लाई क्लब प्राइम आग से बचाए।
All right, top wrap of stories from across the country. After Delhi Lieutenant Governor V.K. Saxena issued a legal notice to Aam Aadmi Party leaders, the party's national spokesperson and MP Sanjay Singh launched a fresh attack on Delhi LG. He alleged that massive irregularities were done in making payments to Khadi workers.
नंबर 1 का भ्रष्टाचारी व्यक्ति दिल्ली का एलजी है। ऐसा भ्रष्टाचारी व्यक्ति जो केवीआईसी का अध्यक्ष रहते हुए 2.5 लाख कर्मचारियों का पैसा खा जाता है। तुम अगर ये सोचते हो कि तुम भ्रष्टाचार करोगे, लूट करोगे, इन भ्रष्टाचारों को इन नोटिसों के नीचे दबा लोगे, ये संभव नहीं है। भारत का संविधान मुझे सच बोलने का अधिकार देता है। मैं देश के सर्वोच्च सदन का सदस्य हूं।
अभी हम लोग सोनाली फोगाट जी के पूरे परिवार से मिले। उनकी जिस तरह से हत्या की गई है और जिन संदेहास्पद सर्कमस्टांसेस के अंदर उनकी हत्या हुई है, ये बेहद दुख की बात है। वो हमारे देश की बहुत जानी मानी हस्ती थी, हमारे देश की बेटी थी, हमारी बहन थी। पूरा परिवार इस वक्त बहुत ज़्यादा सदमे में है। पूरे परिवार
The entire country is walking on Kartavya Path, and the family and the Congress party is walking on Gulami Ka Parivar Path. And yet again this has been proven with the kind of posters we are seeing in the so-called Bharat Jodo Yatra. It shows that this is not about Bharat Jodo. This is about Parivar ko jodo. This is about भ्रष्टाचारियों को जोड़ो।
और ये भारतीय जनता पार्टी के लोग कहते हैं कि सारे मुसलमान को पाकिस्तान भेजो और पाकिस्तान को अखंड भारत में मिला लो। तो फिर भेजने का क्या मतलब है और फिर उसे मिलाने का क्या मतलब है? यदि मिलाएंगे, जब यही नफरत फैला रहे हैं।
PM Modi will inaugurate at the Kartavya Path tomorrow. It symbolizes a shift from erstwhile Rajpath being an icon of power to Kartavya Path being an example of public ownership and empowerment. PM will unveil the statue of Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose at India Gate. These steps are in line with PM's second Panch Pran for New India and Amrit Kal, remove any trace of the colonial mindset. Searches by the Income Tax Department are underway at Delhi-based independent think tank Centre for Policy Research. The action is reportedly connected to simultaneous raids in Haryana, Maharashtra, Gujarat, among other places over funding of more than 20 registered but non-recognized political parties.
All right, top wrap of stories from across the country. After Delhi Lieutenant Governor VK Saxena issued a legal notice to Aam Aadmi Party leaders, the party's national spokesperson and MP Sanjay Singh launched a fresh attack on Delhi LG. He alleged that massive irregularities were done in making payments to Khadi workers.
नंबर एक का भ्रष्टाचारी व्यक्ति दिल्ली का एलजी है। ऐसा भ्रष्टाचारी व्यक्ति जो केवीआईसी का अध्यक्ष रहते हुए 2.5 लाख कर्मचारियों का पैसा खा जाता है। तुम अगर ये सोचते हो कि तुम भ्रष्टाचार करोगे, लूट करोगे, इन भ्रष्टाचारों को इन नोटिसों के नीचे दबा लोगे, ये संभव नहीं है। भारत का संविधान मुझे सच बोलने का अधिकार देता है। मैं देश के सर्वोच्च सदन का सदस्य हूं।
अभी हम लोग सोनाली फोगाट जी के पूरे परिवार से मिले। उनकी जिस तरह से हत्या की गई है और जिन संदेहास्पद सर्कमस्टांसेस के अंदर उनकी हत्या हुई है, ये बेहद दुख की बात है। वो हमारे देश की बहुत जानी मानी हस्ती थी, हमारे देश की बेटी थी, हमारी बहन थी।
Well, the massive protest is now being done by BJP workers in front of Manish Sisodia's residence. Manish Sisodia, इसको बर्खास्त करो, हमारी ये मांग है। BJP MLA who is now being detained here.
परिवार को बचाने की यात्रा है। ये परिवार का पार्टी पर नियंत्रण बना रहे, उसके लिए यात्रा है।
Robert Vadra make himself face of Bharat Jodo Yatra. Rahul's Bharat Jodo Yatra. What beyond desperate antics? Arnab debates at 9 p.m.
We got independent. We chose a system of democracy. Unfortunately, we continued with the imperialistic mindset and the powers who be it. And thus, it was necessary to change that particular aspect. We get inspired by the right ethos and right fundamentals.
Why are some repulsed by renaming Rajpath? It is time to shed the subservient mindset once and for all. Arnab debates at 10 p.m. West Bengal Law Minister raided in coal scam case. First Partho Chatterjee, now Molloy Ghatak. policy remain in denial or suspend the Neta? Arnab debates at 10:30 p.m.
Special CBI court rejected the application filed by Vidhi Mukherjee seeking permission to live with her mother Indrani Mukherjee. This comes after Indrani Mukherjee was released on bail in the 2012 murder of her older daughter Sheena Bora. The court granted bail on condition that the witness cannot establish any contact with the accused until recording of evidence is completely done. Vidhi is still a witness in the case. Supreme Court heard the plea challenging the order of Karnataka High Court upholding
From the Mumbai studios of Republic TV, it's time for Arnab Goswami on The Debate.